Good day to everyone, distinguished rabbis, distinguished audience. The organizers told me that I have 15 minutes. I will try to leave you something over because I came late. I would like to speak about the program, as I understand it, for Judea, Samaria, and Gaza. I underscore that with God's help, we will remember and return. And we're not talking only about Judea and Samaria. The vision of the program is complete sovereignty from the Jordan to the Mediterranean. There are no two peoples and no two states. It is necessary to do this in a number of ways. One is to impact the hearts and minds through the head. And perhaps the most recent example is the report by retired Justice Edmund Levy and the other members of the committee, and we should thank them for their courageous work. They indeed deserve a round of applause. And many additional activities that will lead to a general recognition among the people, not only here among us, and I'm very happy and thank the organizers for this important day and for all the work they do all year round, Women in Green, Nadia Yudit, and the other members. The second way to move ahead on this matter is that of creating facts. That is one of the things that we have been doing for 44 years, Rav Waldman and others, and I am their student. I hope I learned something too. And with God's help, we will move ahead to 500,000 Jews in Judea and Samaria. Let's make an agreement. You stop clapping and let me finish, because this is my time. Listen, and if you want to applaud at the end, then it's okay. In any case, we are approaching 500,000 Jews in Judea and Samaria, and that doesn't include the neighborhoods all around Jerusalem, which, as you of course know, are not recognized internationally either. The third way is to apply sovereignty by points rather than by knockout. I'll get to this matter, what we can do at a particular time, but for the time being, in the coming years, we have to continue to win by points. Why do I say to win? Because when I look at what the left are writing, they're in complete despair. We're losing, we have to find courage, we have to do something. We cannot continue this way. They're beginning to understand that they are indeed losing. I met Yariv Oppenheimer at a wedding, and somebody there asked, maybe you'll shake hands? And I said, anyone who builds 3 migrants, I'll shake his hand, and we indeed shook hands. In any case, this path, which is causing despair to the other side, those who are so much against us, and is accustoming the public to the fact that it is ours, this is an important path. You can ask young people who are enlisting now in the IDF where the green line is. They ask, what? You say the green line? They have no idea. I've seen entire groups come to Ma'ale Ephraim, and then sure it's the Bet Shan Valley and other things such as that. They've completely lost direction. Of course, they know there are problems there and things like that, but it's all the same to them. The program needs to be to move ahead in this way, And I repeat again that the vision is that up to the Jordan, everything is ours. Did I say anything about the Golan? Do I have anything against the Golan? Including the Golan, of course. If anyone suspected me on that matter, let me make it clear. The Golan, you can write it down. Put it in writing. I wanted to continue and say that if anyone were to ask, what about the Gilad? I would say that too is part of the vision, because that's the divine vision. I see I can't control the applause. Please let me continue. Dear friends, the program must be the application of full sovereignty. Now we'll talk about the full program, not about steps on the way. Full sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, with the steps being gradual. At first, we must include all of areas C. I see that there are people who are confused. Let me give you a sign. A is for Arabs. C is ours. The B is balagan. It's a mess. A little of this and a little of that. In any case, at first, area C, there are 370 Jews living there and 60,000. I say to you that we need to annex all of that the moment it is possible, including the Arabs living there, and give them, if they want, full rights. I'd like to illustrate the process that has been happening over the past 45 years in Jerusalem. How many Arabs live in Jerusalem? About 280 to 300,000 Arabs. How many Arab citizens? How many citizens who are Israelis? How many Arabs who are Israeli citizens? I can't hear what you're saying. About 10,000. How many of them actually vote in the elections? 3,000% of all the Arabs of Jerusalem who have been living for decades. Many of them were born into the Israeli reality. They speak Hebrew and they wear jeans like you and me. And in the end, only 1% actually votes. A little bit more for the municipal elections, about 5,000. To this day, the meaning of that is that the Arab potential is not being realized in terms of election, and they don't want Israeli identity cards. They are residents, not citizens, and residents can't vote. Look at the Golan Heights. In the Golan Heights, there are about 27,000 Druze. How many of them are citizens? About 2,200. How many actually vote? About 1,000 at most. So we talked about the Golan too, because somebody mentioned that. So this phenomenon, you might ask and say, okay, that's the situation today. It's a fact. We can't argue about that. But tomorrow, they may change their minds and decide that they want to show us how it's done and conquer our parliament. And they'll all come and take identity cards and vote. What will we do then? The answer is that, first of all, in order to get an identity card, you have to meet a number of requirements that every state requires, and that's to know the language, to make a declaration of allegiance to the state, and so on and so forth, a number of things that are accepted all over the world. But let's assume for a moment, theoretically, that they are willing to do that, and they do it. The answer is that we have to move over. We have to do it anyway, not for this reason, but this will move up the process. We have to move over to proportional and regional elections. Today we only have a proportional system. You vote, there are parties. Everybody, of course, votes for the national union or the Jewish home, and we're uniting, by the way. I say we are uniting, that's it. But we need to move over to a system where half of the Knesset will be elected using the current proportional method, and the other half will be elected based on a regional system. And the regional system, according to the regional system, Judea and Samaria will not be 1 or 2 districts. They will belong to other areas. For example, Jenin will belong to the Afula area, and Kalkilia will belong to the Kfar Saba area. We decide on the districts, and we will affect what the map looks like. That's legitimate, it's legal, it's the right thing to do, it's the Jewish thing to do. What is left for us to do is to, and it's not an easy thing, what we have to do is to get the Israeli public to agree to that. And that can be done and should be done in a number of ways. One is what I spoke about at the beginning, by creating facts on the ground and creating the understanding that this cannot be changed anymore. The second thing is to explain our right, and not only our right, but our duty to the land of Israel. And we have a lot to explain. David Ben-Gurion said it very nicely to those who asked him, what is your right over this land? When there was a British mandate here and he held the Bible and he said, this is our deed. He didn't talk about security or other things. He used the Bible to explain that right. And the third thing is to prepare a political program in the direction that I spoke of in order to be prepared for the day when it comes, and it will come. In Israel, about every 12 years, there is an exceptional event, a war, God forbid, a large wave of immigration or something else. If we prepare for that day with a program that we can agree on and that we will try to inculcate into the public and the leadership, the time will come when we can fulfill it. With God's help, we will succeed. Thank you.